know this video is a little bit overdue, but we had a busy week, but we still, no matter what, had to make a video about this because Miss A was like our jam. Like Miss A was low-key our everything. They were one of the first groups that we got into when we got into K-pop, and we just have to talk about Jia leaving. For those of you who may not know what we're talking about right off the bat, Miss A is a 4-member group from JYP. Jia and Faye's contract was up. Faye renewed, Jia did not, and so obviously that means Miss A is going to continue as 3. Our issue is just how did Miss A get to this point? How do you debut as this group that breaks onto the scene with their epic single Bad Girl Good Girl? You're the fastest girl group to take the #1 spot on a music show. Your single stays at #1 for 4 weeks, beating Girls' Generation record, and then in your last comeback you can't even win a music show.
How do you get bad management?
Yeah, because in between that time they didn't have any like huge massive scandals. Like nothing was stopping them from becoming the huge girl group they were predicted to be when they debuted. Like, how did we get here?
In 2010 they debuted and everything was gravy, baby. Like 2010 was good, 2011 was good. We get to 2012,
Still doing good.
We're doing great because Touch came out.
Literally that mini album, Touch, Lips, Rock and Roll, No Mercy, Over You, and then Touch Newport Mix. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
All those songs were literally perfection, and me and Courtney were obsessed with it. So they dropped that at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, you got Independent Woman Part 3, I Don't Need a Man, I Don't Need a Man.
Y'all know we love that song.
I don't need a man, I don't need a man. And then you had Time's Up, you had Madness,
My Style.
and then we get to 2013. This is like the beginning of the end. I feel 2013, Hush comes out. And Hush, like the title track, was good. But they recycled old songs. Half the songs were from Touch and Independent Woman, and the other half were new, but they weren't that great.
Anything that just pissed me off, because I was like, Miss A deserves so much better. And especially like you said, because Hush was so good. The song, like, this is what comes with it.
And I not get a real full album? Trying to play me, JYP? Going on from there, they did Colors, that was like Only You and all that stuff. But at the same time, there should have been another comeback somewhere in there.
Almost 2 years
with no comeback.
Do you know what 2 years is like in the K-pop world?
That's like 10.
Yeah. Their last comeback at that point, like, to me, Miss A has never been one of those girl groups where you like think they're all close and they're all best friends. I mean, I only can count like on one hand how many groups that I think are like truly friends and things like that. And it's like no shade. It's not being like, oh, they're not friends. Like sometimes a group is literally just a group. Obviously they're cool with each other, but you don't have to be besties because you're in a group. And I feel like early on, Suzy, like with her dramas and her CF, she like skyrocketed to her own level of popularity. And I feel like just across the board, when one person gets bigger than the whole group, things get like kind of awkward. And I saw like a comment somewhere that said, oh, well, if they were like 4 Minute and they were all close, then it would have worked better, probably. And I was like, maybe.
4 Minute could have been gone a long time ago. With the way they promote Hyuna over everyone else and she does this and that and this. If you're not close, that would have been, I feel, really rocky situation.
It's just sad the way they debuted. I kind of like see it as in like how Twice like came on the scene. Now they had like their reality show and then like hopped on the scene. Now they're like pretty much like really taking over for the new generation. Back then, that was Miss A. It's like the equivalent of pretty much the same kind of thing. And Miss A didn't even have a reality show to like push them.
In general, with the reality show or not, it's so hard as a debuting like new group in K-pop even make it past that point so you can get to a first comeback, a first album, a this and that, because it's so competitive and there's so many groups that come out every year.
Yeah.
And there's groups you don't even hear about, like, cause who were they? What'd they do?
Makes me mad. A lot of these new K-pop fans are like, oh, Miss A, who cares, whatever, blah, blah, blah. All these old groups, they're trash, whatever. But it's like, they're not trash. One, they were huge. And two, our group started out the same way, Miss Girl. So when you really want to look at it, like, and JYP did the same thing with Wonder Girls. Wonder Girls was like at the peak, and then what did JYP do? He sent them to America. And then with Miss A, if JYP just would have been consistent, they could have grown to what they were supposed to be. And I feel like that's the thing that makes me the most upset. They never got to reach their full potential. During this time, you give 2 PM comebacks. You can completely revamp the Wonder Girls. You have GOT7 doing their thing consistently. Now you have Twice. And in all this, where was Miss A? When he came out with his statement, he said Miss A isn't gonna disband, but there's like no plans for them right now. That just means that Gia's leaving, they weren't gonna have a comeback, and you weren't even thinking about a comeback, and you're not even planning a comeback.
Exactly.
How could you let something so valuable just slip from your fingertips?
Exactly.
Like after a certain point, you really didn't try anymore.
Yep. Somebody needs to like start calling around and check on all these groups we ain't seen in a while. They were all just so different. They were just so different. And they had different strengths, and it just like, it melded perfectly. And they were just...
Yep. In my eyes, JYP hasn't even set it up to where people would want to stay. If I was Jia, I probably wouldn't have re-signed too, because I'm like, okay, I'm in this group. We haven't done anything for a while. Our last comeback, I mean, it got good reviews. May or may not be that close to the members. Don't know like what's really going on in the true relationship of that. I did my time. I did my contract. We had what we had. It was great. But I could easily not resign, go back to China, and do my own thing and catapult that way and actually be working on something. Overall, we wish Jia the best. We wish Miss A the best with whatever happens with them. Let us know all your thoughts and feelings. So on that note, follow us on Instagram
and follow us on Twitter.
and we'll see you guys later.
Bye.